Hi, first grade. For math today, you're just going to need your math workbooks, but I wanted to get on here so I could explain and go over what your learning goal is today for math. So you have completed a few workbook pages related to time to the hour, and we discussed that. We discussed it on our Zoom and also I believe in the previous video I made you. So let's go ahead and let's put this on a common time for us. How about 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock is when a lot of us are either waking up or eating breakfast, 8 o'clock in the morning. So again, we have our short hand, clock hand, not my actual hand, right? But this guy pointing to the 8 and the minute hand pointing to the 12 because that means it's exactly of the hour. That is when we can refer to this as 8 o'clock. Okay? Then let's say an hour passes by, our minute hand goes around, we continue to go, an hour of time passes, and it is now 9 o'clock. So now our hour hand has moved to 9, and our minute hand has moved all the way around the clock once and back up to that 0 minutes or 60 minutes, but it's really 0. So today we're going to be actually focused on time to the half hour. So let's say instead of an hour passed, let's go back in time. Now let's pretend, okay, we're back at 8 o'clock. Let's pretend only half of an hour passes. Just half. Now again, if a full hour passes, a full hour of time, this minute hand goes all the way around the clock. Boom, 1 hour. But did I say 1 hour? No. I said half of an hour. So, if once around this clock is a full hour, what would half of that be? Half of all of this. Well, you can kind of pretend to divide it right down the middle from 0 right down to the 6, which is also 30 minutes or half of an hour. Boom. So now instead of going a full hour, we've gone half of an hour. So our minute hand points to the 6. It's not really pointing to the 6 though. It's actually pointing, if you look a little closer, to the 30, which means 30 minutes. Because again, every time this blue handle moves, okay, it moves 1 minute because it's the minute hand. And a minute is much faster than an hour. So we'll go back to 8. Here's 8 o'clock. I say, okay, let's move to half an hour. Let's move half an hour. Let's make it 8.5 hours. We move this down to the halfway point. And now do I say it's 8.5 o'clock? I don't. I can say it's 8:30 because I'm telling you it's 8 hours and 30 minutes. And on a digital clock, because this is an analog clock. This is our old school. It's got its face, its hands. But on a digital clock, to write 8:30, we would say, or 8, or a half past 8, we would put 8:30, okay? Because the 8 is our hours, and the 30 is our minutes. So this time, okay, is really this time, 8:30. Now, that's not so bad, right? Because you've already gotten used to telling time to the hour. So you know that every time it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, something where we say o'clock, it's that on the hour, okay? 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Well, now you're able to tell when it's those half-hour times, like 11:30. Okay, let's try another one. There's 12 o'clock. Now we have 12:30. Move it up half an hour and it's 1 o'clock. And now it is 1:30. The other important thing to point out about this is the hour hand. So let's go to a brand new time of the clock. Let's do 3 o'clock. Let's get all the way. Now, when you have time and it's pointing to exactly an hour, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever, the minute hand is exactly at the top. It's always going to be on its minutes, right? But the hour hand is exactly on the 3. Watch the hour hand, the red hand. Watch what happens to it as time continues. So here it's 3 o'clock, and now we're into 3 o'clock. So we continue to go, do, 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 do. Now it's 3:10, do, 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 do. 3:20, 3:30, so it's halfway between 3 and 4 o'clock. But what did you notice about the hour hand? What's happening to the hour hand as it moves, as the minute hand moves for its hour? Is it exactly on 3 o'clock? No. Right now, it's actually right in the middle between 3 and 4. And that's because the minute hand is exactly halfway done with the hour for us. And you'll notice as we get closer to 4 o'clock, so does the hour hand. Now it's 3:45. Here's where it's tricky though, because you might look at this and go, well, that looks like it's 4 something. But it's not, because we're almost right here, but we're not quite in the center of the 4 yet. So it's 3:45 until we finally get to 4 o'clock. Okay, and but if we went ahead and we continued and we wanted to make it say 4:30 or a 4:30. 4:30, here we go. Watch that hour hand. Do you see it moving? Yes. And then right when it's 4:30, we're right in between the 4 and the 5. If we were continue to point this, we would get right here, right in the middle of 4 and 5. So when you're telling time to the half hour, that placement where the hour, where the hour hand is located is very important to tell us, where the hour hand is located matters. It's not, when it's telling time to the half hour, the hand's going to be between whatever the hour is and its next hour. So, that being said, take out your math workbook if you don't have it already. Open to page 209, and you will see it says read the clock, write the half hour time on the digital clock. Now this one isn't as hard because they've done the harder part, which is drawing those hands. So for example, this first one here, what number, so for number 1, what number is the hour hand pointing to? You have to be careful. It is not pointing to 8 o'clock, okay? It's pointing to 7 as the hour, even though it looks like it's almost going to point to 8 o'clock, it's not. If you were to draw a little line with your pencil, I'll draw one with my red pen to show you where that line ends up, okay? You'll see that it's really right between 7 and 8, okay? So in this case, we would say that is 7 write mine down. 7 is the hour. And then what are our minutes? If it's on the 6, that means half of the hour is gone, so it's going to be 30. 30, because half of 60 minutes is 30. Right? Half of 6 is 3, half of 60 is 30. So again, you need to actually look closely, because you might just glance and go, oh, it's 9:30. But in reality, I'm looking at problem 3, so you can look at this one too. You might go, oh, 9:30, but it's not to the 9 yet, okay? When you have your clock, let's pretend, whew. Okay, let's say I want to make this say 9:30. Well, here's 9 o'clock, right? Here's 9 o'clock. Just make sure this is good. 9 o'clock. Let's go to 9:30. It's past the 9, almost at 10, but it's still 9:30. So on problem 3, what I'm seeing is I see this. I see an hour hand in between 8 and 9, which tells me that it's on its way to 9 o'clock, but it's not there yet, so it must be 8:30, 8 hours and a half, almost a full 9. So you're going to go ahead and write the digital times for each of these analog clocks. They are all to the half hour. You can tell because all of the minute hands hit 30. So every time it's a half an hour, like it's going to be something and 30, something 30. So in this case, 7:30. Number 2, I see it's right past the 5, which means it's going to be 5:30. Continue, finish writing those digitally. Then you'll turn the page, and it says, circle the clock that shows the correct time, cross out the clock that shows the wrong time. So again, you have to remember, when it's something 30, all right, it has to have already reached the hour for that, right? 8 o'clock, we've touched the 8. Now we're passing the 8. And our hours are always going to go this way. In that direction we call clockwise, because we are going in the direction of a clock. Oop. Yep, right in the middle of those numbers. So again, whatever 2 numbers this hour hand is in between, it's going to be whichever one comes before it as the hour. If you're like, oh, this is F, this is kind of tricky, that's okay. Just keep practicing. You will get it eventually. Time is tricky. I remember it took me a very long time to learn time in first grade. I could not comprehend it. But as you start to understand how a clock is set up, that will help you more in learning it, which is why it's important to know that 30 is half of 60, which is the full hour. There's also a puzzled penguin on this page. Puzzled penguin, he drew a clock and he wrote that it's 1:30 digitally, or no, excuse me, he got the digital time and then he drew the hand on the clock, but he's wrong. He's basically always wrong. So tell me why. And that is all you need to work on for math today. Page 209 and 210, telling time to the half hour. Yeah, don't worry about 211 yet. Don't worry about that one. Okay, good luck. Also, if you need if you want to practice playing with a learning clock, I have included a link. It's on the website. It's on the homepage of our website, but I included a link below this assignment on today's page. So good luck, good work. Bye.